Thank you for listening to iHeart Communities on iHeartRadio. I'm Renee DiNino, now joined in the studio by the woman, the myth herself. It's Dr. Lori Greenwald. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Lori.
This is my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So people know your name with Vivesse Med Spa and Vanishing Veins. You're a founder, you're a fearless leader, a hero to women here. And what I love about this program, Transitions with Dr. Lori, it's not about making physical and cosmetic changes as much as it is about making yourself feel good and taking control of your life. It's about self-esteem and making one feel better. And I really commend you for that, putting the emphasis on how we feel and how we want to be treated and treat others. I think that's a really unique way to put yourself out there like that.
I couldn't agree with you more. This is different than anything I personally have ever done. And it all started when I actually went through my own transitions with my daughter, getting married. And here I was, I had to go pick a dress out. And in the Jewish religion, the mother and the father walked the bride down. So I couldn't escape. And there I was. I'm not going to say my age because it doesn't matter.
That's right.
And I decided that I wanted to be who I really was. Looked at dresses. They were dresses my grandmother would wear. And that's when it all hit me, that I wasn't that mother of the bride that used to be. I started to feel like a different generation of women. And that's who I want to help, and that's what I believe I represent. Because this is really about empowering women. We are kind of like the forgotten woman. And that's what I want to bring, and that's what Transitions is all about.
Well, let's talk about Transitions with Dr. Lori. That leads us to our other guest today, who is the fabulous Cynthia Wasburn.
Oh my.
Yes, you are. You're a rock star. I've been talking about you for weeks now. I've been blogging about you. I've been looking at your transition. I feel like I'm meeting a celebrity in my studio.
Oh my gosh.
But you know what? Let's really talk about your transition because, unfortunately, I think what happened to you is unfortunately starting to become a little bit too common when you're a certain age and then you find yourself without a job. You find yourself being replaced or not being replaced and getting sort of told you're not needed anymore, and then you're everything else that falls into place with that. I don't want to say too much in case someone isn't, aware of your story, but where you came from is so impressive to where you are now. It's unbelievable the transition you have made. So tell our audience a little bit about that.
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate being here. My transition basically started when I was laid off back in 2007. Got caught in the recession. Couldn't find a job. I was a human resource manager. Loved what I did. Absolutely loved what I did. Loved the company I worked for. Loved the people. They were my family. And I came back from holiday during Christmas time and was told you are going to spend the next year laying the company off, and you're on that list too. We were bought by a larger company that moved operations overseas. Well, I stayed through the entire time because, as I said, they were my family. So I needed to do that job and finish my job the way I wanted to. And that was to do the best I could for those people.
With compassion.
With compassion, giving them the tools and resources that they needed. Yeah, I mean, there were people that were there 25 years, didn't know how to write a resume. So we brought in a team to teach them how to write resumes. We put them through interviews, mock interviews, and tried to place them, but there were no jobs to place them in. So the end of all that, I was out of work. And then wondering, well, okay, I have 15 years experience, I have an education, I should be able to find something. That didn't happen. And it's the way life goes. I mean, an obstacle will be thrown in your path, and you have basically three choices. You have a choice to stand there and wait for it to move, or try to will it to move. You have a choice to climb over that obstacle and continue on your path. Or you have a choice, the third choice being you take another path. But you keep moving. Somehow you keep moving. I did all three. I stood before it waiting for it to move.
Yeah.
It didn't. I climbed over it only to find more obstacles on that path.
Now, did you ever break down? Did you ever lose faith and faith? Did you question? I mean, and also that stress, what it does to your physical being and health as well. Tell us about that a little bit.
There were so many dark days. So many rejections, and so much effort put into it. I worked at looking for a job every day, and it was just beating me up. I finally got to the point where, I had returned to school for a little while, thinking that if I improved my education, went towards a graduate degree in human resource management, I would better myself, better my chances. So that turned out to be kind of a waste of time. I still am happy to have the education, but it didn't get me where I needed to go. So I made the choice to take that other path. And that was unbelievable. Talk about dark days. When you decide that the identity you had was this one particular thing, and now you have to let go. So you have to let go of that identity, and it leaves you lost. You don't know who you are.
Now, I know online it says how old you are, so I'm not giving anything away when I say this, but now that we're speaking, you're 62. When this was going on, can you let our listeners know that you were going through all this and you had the double whammy of a stereotype of being not only a woman, but age is a factor when you were looking for a new job?
I do believe age was a factor.
So
yes.
how old were you when all of this sort of happened?
Well, how long ago was that? Almost 10 years. So I was, 53?
50 maybe, yeah. So you had so many points, if you will, so many stereotypes against you, and then you had to make some choices. And I know people that are listening right now are saying, oh my gosh, I relate to Cynthia, I know, and maybe I'm still in my dark place. I'm looking at you right now. There's no way you're in a dark place right now. There just isn't. That smile, that radiance is not a dark place, but help someone listening right now who might be in a dark place.
Well, one thing I did hang on to, and that is change is inevitable. So tomorrow's another day. If today it didn't work out for you, it may work out for you tomorrow. There may be something tomorrow, next week, that an idea that comes to you, a person you meet that helps you along the way. Like Dr. Greenwald. I mean, she is definitely helping me along the way and building my self-esteem. I have come out with so much confidence because of this transition, and I can't thank her enough. It's truly been a wonderful transition.
We're all welling up a little bit, but
Yeah.
I mean, if people would